just on the other side of suffering is success. Guys, my name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of Top Level Martial Arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls, coming at you at 5:30 a.m. today, getting ready to teach my 6 a.m. classes. But I wanted to talk to you about something a little different, and it's about how you get from where you are to where you want to be. And it doesn't matter what it's in. I've been very fortunate. I'm a second-degree black belt under Master Pedro Sauer and Tony Rinaldi, and I'm very fortunate that I have gotten that far. A lot of people don't make it. I was planning on talking about something else today, and I wanted to discuss this instead because some things happened, and this guy will probably hear this, and he'll know it's about him, but maybe he needs to hear that. I don't know. A lot of people have big plans, especially when they're young. They have things they want to do, things they want to accomplish, and they don't end up accomplishing them. Let me tell you, I've been training martial arts since 1984. I was 5 years old when I started. And I don't know why, but I just always loved it. I never thought it was not fun. And as I grew up, and when you're 5, you don't really train martial arts. You show up and do some stuff, right? You kick and punch in the air and have a good time. That's it. But, by the time I was in my teens, when I could actually understand and comprehend what was going on, man, I was in love with it. And if you talk to anybody who knew me back then, they'll tell you I was the karate guy, right? Like when we had projects and stuff, I always made it about martial arts. And I remember my mother sometime in my early 20s saying, man, I thought it was a phase. I thought it was something you were going to grow out of. And by that time, I was helping to teach at the karate dojo I was teaching at the time. At the time, it was all karate. And, I was like, man, no way. I would never quit this. And in fact, I've gone so far. I've gone through college, 2 degrees. I've gone through jobs doing amazing stuff, jobs people would die for. And I've turned them down because I thought they would interfere with my ability to train martial arts. And I've gone through injuries, torn quadriceps, broken ribs, just a broken jaw, like literally smashed in 4 places. Jaws wired shut, completely shut. Clench your teeth as hard as you can. That's how hard they wire it shut. You've got to suck everything through a straw. I've gone through all kinds of injuries and all kinds of challenges to get to where I'm at. And no one gave that to me. But there's one piece of advice my mom always gave me, and I think if I had to attribute anything in what limited success I believe I have, it would be that she always said, look, you can do anything you want to do in this life, but you better be willing to sacrifice for it. And that was important to me, guys. That was all the difference. And I think that for you, it's going to be the same thing. I think you're going to find, and people want to say, oh, you got to be able to hustle. You got to be able to work hard. I know a lot of people who work hard and get nowhere. It's not about the hustle. You have to have hustle, but it's more about the sacrifice. At some point, you're going to have to do things you don't want to do, things that scare the ever-living piss out of you, and you're going to have to do them anyway. You're going to have to suffer. Show me anybody who's successful, anyone, and they have sacrificed and suffered to get there. They've gone through injury. They've gone through pain. They've gone through heartache. I guarantee you, let's look at LeBron James, who's probably one of the best basketball players ever. I guarantee you, he has some athletic acumen, of course. But there's a lot of guys who are very athletic and very gifted that get nowhere athletically. They, maybe they play a little bit in college and that's it, and then they go on to do whatever. And I'm not saying that they don't become successful in that. I'm saying that they stop being an athlete, and it's usually similar stories like, oh yeah, man, I got injured and it just, I didn't want to yada yada yada. And that's fine. Whatever it is you want, goals can change. I get that, but I see people who have their heart in something, they get injured. They miss out for 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden everything's changed. It's like, oh, it's this or it's that, and no, you're scared. You're scared because you got injured. You're scared because you got injured. But on the other side of that fear and on the other side of that suffering is success. And that's how you get there. People want to know, how do you get to a black belt? It's easy. Just don't friggin' quit. That's it. That's the only thing you've got to do, is keep training, keep coming. But it's going to be on the other side of sacrifice. You're going to have to spend some money that you would maybe rather use to buy some beers. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to show up when others won't. You're going to have to not quit when others do. That's how you get to black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's the hardest black belt on earth to get, and it's saved for a select few. The few who are willing to sacrifice. And if you want to get there, you really want to get there, you're going to have to sacrifice. It's going to be hard. You're going to get afraid sometimes. You're going to get injured sometimes, and that's just the way it is. It is the life of an athlete. Because for the most part, you're becoming an athlete. You may not be the best. I mean, like, on the grand scheme of things, let me put this into play, because there's levels to this shit. On the grand scheme of things, like, if we'll say, like, this is like Rickson Gracie, Marcelo Garcia, Andre Galvão, Gordon Ryan, that's like the level they're at, you know, and like the Pedro Saurs and the you know, Draculinos and those guys, they're all up here, right? Like, and this is white belt. Like, I'm probably down right about here. I'm marginally okay, all right? And that's at second degree black belt. That's where I consider myself. That's how much of a difference there is. So, and I've had to sacrifice a lot to get to here. Imagine what you're going to have to do to get to here. Does that scare you? Good. It's supposed to. Because on the other side of fear, on the other side of sacrifice, is success. Guys, 5 tiny tips is coming up. I hope you're doing great. Thank you for watching. Leave comments, like, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. All right, guys, we are watching Professor's Corner. Thanks for watching. We're in 5 tiny details. The question came in about a spider guard sweep. And so I'm going to show you the one that I like the best. I can't take any credit for this. We had a seminar not too long ago with Claudia Do Val, who's probably one of the best spider guard players on earth. And she kind of hit us with this. So hopefully I do it justice and give you guys some tips that are helpful. So check it out. First, let's talk about detail 1, is just getting into the spider guard. A lot of times it can feel really tough to get there because, you know, the moment I open my hips, he's using his hands and elbows to make things tough. So what I typically do is I'll press and lift my hips and turn to get my foot onto his hip, and my other knee comes in. So if he sits up tall, like, my knee and heel connect right here. And that creates a nice little frame that it's hard for him to come through. And now I'm going to be able to open him up easily. So you can have your arms back. So I've got these sleeve grips. And I'm going to show you a detail on those sleeve grips in just a minute. And now I can either open here and put my foot on his hip, or I can immediately pummel in. So I bring my foot in onto his elbow, and that allows me to move him. Boom. And now I can come off of his hip and be in a spider guard situation. All right. Now, I do prefer to do things with my left foot, so I am going to pummel. And this is a nice little drill that you can do. So we'll call this bonus tip. I can bring my foot in, and as I do, look, this one retracts. But it retracts, I don't just pull it to me, because I'm going to lose his arm. I actually push down like I'm biting it into his hip as I bring the other one in. And now I've got it. So detail number 2 is that the extended leg is lower than the other one. So typically I see it like this, and this is okay. There's going to be times for this, but I don't like this as much, even like here. So we're going to be here, and this other one, like, I think of myself as a scorpion, and this leg is my stinger, right? So at any time, boom, we can always come in and make bad things happen to him. So detail number 2, my leg is low. Now, for the sweep that I would do, there's a bunch of options here. We could go to triangles, we could do all kinds of things. But for the sweep, I do it when he steps up with his outside leg. Bang. All right? And he might be doing that. Let's put it back down for a second. He might be doing that to bring it inside to try to kill this. He might be doing that kind of thing, right? So whatever the reason, notice that his head elevates as he starts to do it. Pause. See how his head came up? Go back down. So that's secret tip number 3, is that I'm looking for his head to elevate. When his head elevates, I'm going to bicycle, switch sides, and now's when that leg goes high. So I bicycled by bringing the foot in. I switched. Detail number 4, this will kick through. And detail number 5, this will kick up, and we just follow him over. And you can just maintain him right here. All right? And now, guys, easy finish. Wet Willie. Hope this was helpful. Talk to you later. All right, guys, so I did say, if you're still watching, this is your bonus tip. I did say I'd talk about the grips a little bit. So one little detail on the grips. Bonus detail for those who watched to the end. On the grips, it's almost like you got a little kid and their sleeves are too big for them and you're like rolling their sleeves up. Like, it's not legal to grab inside if you're doing competitions. So I poof it up with my thumb here, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I wrap my fingers over. And this is just a powerful grip. You know, he can pull back as much as he wants, and I've just got great control. And then I can put my thumb and put it on there. And then if he pulls back hard, I can always just extend with him. He's not going anywhere. So those are the kind of grips I use on this. Some people like a pistol grip. I don't like that as much. I feel like if he starts rotating his hand around, like I'm going to start losing that. So that's what I do with the grips. Guys, again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.